Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Hey, folks, today's Monday, October 13th, 2025, coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live on the Black Star Network. I'm here in Beaufort, Georgia, where former NFL and Major League Baseball star Brian Jordan held the Celebrity Golf Classic. Coming up today's show, Minnesota Police Department and county, they are being accused of ignoring clear signs of a medical emergency involving a jailed black man. We'll talk with attorneys who are filing a lawsuit against him. Today marks day 14 of the government shutdown. 4,000 employees have lost their jobs and no end in sight to ending this disaster. In today's Crockett Chronicles, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett calls up the GOP's hypocrisy during a heated House hearing. And she surprisingly admits that Marjorie Taylor Greene is correct, like a broke clock. Be correct twice a day. In New Orleans, 2 black candidates failed to win that race. New Orleans now has its first Latina mayor. We'll tell you who she is. Plus, a small town in Mississippi has taken on a UK-based company and emerged victorious. Residents of Gloucester claim that a company wants to increase pollution from its wood pellet plant in their town. We'll talk with a community organizer. Lots to break down. It's time to bring the funk. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Side Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. He's
Folks, another traffic stop, another black man dead, this time in Eagan, Minnesota. The family of Kingsley Bimpong, 50-year-old man from Ghana, has filed a $120 million lawsuit against the county. It's a federal wrongful death lawsuit. The lawsuit claims officers and jail staff mistook his stroke symptoms for drug impairment, leaving him without medical care for hours. Let's talk with Katie Bennett. She's representing the family. She joins us right now. Katie, glad to have you here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Walk us through these allegations are unbelievable in terms of what happened. So, first of all, why was he arrested?
Right. So Kingsley had left work early, suffering from a headache, and he ended up taking a left turn on a red arrow and drove down the wrong side of the street and was pulled over by Eagan officers.
Okay, so he's pulled over by the officers. He runs a red light. But what? So what? They thought that, oh my goodness, he's on drugs, so therefore let's bring him to the jail?
Exactly. They assumed impairment from what they had seen and proceeded to get a search warrant for his blood, and he ended up at the jail after spending 2 hours and 16 minutes with the Eagan officers, where he was clearly declining. And then he suffers at the jail on the jail floor for another 3 hours and 40 minutes and spirals towards death.
Okay, now I'm confused. So he's complaining to them of what he's going through, what he's feeling. They take him to jail. He's there for 2 hours. Okay, you just described a total of 5 hours. At any point, are medics called? Is anybody literally checking him to see what's going on? So medics were not called at the traffic stop or at the jail?
That's correct. There was only medics called with regard to the search warrant for his blood, and they spent about 17 minutes there, did their job for the blood work, and that's about it. He is in the presence of the Eagan officers for a significant period of time, and then correctional officers are also at the jail doing checks on him and walking by. He's in a cell with large windows where he can be seen by many of the individuals, including all of the defendant correctional officers that have been sued.
Okay, so what then happens? So 5 hours go by, and what then leads them? Do they ever call paramedics?
Yes, but at that point, he is so close to death that it doesn't matter. There's nothing that can be done for him. Eventually, one of the correctional officers sees that he is foaming at the mouth, gray in color, having seizure-like activity, and brings this to their attention. And a nurse comes in, and then eventually paramedics are called, and he's taken to two hospitals after. But there's, again, nothing that could be done.
Do you have y'all been able to see body cam footage of the traffic stop and arrest, dash cam footage, and then have you been able to see video footage from the jail as well?
Yes, we have had access to all of that pre-suit. It's detailed in the complaint with regard to what the officers were discussing, including that it was potentially a medical incident, and all of his, honestly, telltale stroke signs that he was exhibiting, and the fact that those signs never abate and, in fact, get worse throughout the 5 hours and 40 minutes he's with law enforcement officers.
So what was the county, the police department, the jailers, what was their reaction? Did they say, hey, my bad, sorry, we screwed up?
In reaction to the lawsuit, Eagan has basically doubled down on the actions taken by their officers, or I should say deliberate indifference taken by their officers, asserting that he didn't tell them of any medical conditions that could explain his behavior. And I would say that's ludicrous. A person who on scene with officers can't tell them his name, where he worked, where he's coming from, his own address, basic facts.
As a matter of fact, if somebody can't tell me those things, even if I suspect them of being being drug impaired, I still need to get some medical professionals who can tell me that's actually what's going on.
Exactly. It didn't matter the underlying cause. When you're faced with those types of symptoms, the cognitive and physical impairments that he was exhibiting, the underlying cause doesn't matter. Get him help, medical help.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Certainly condolences go out to his family. And again, this is just another story that we keep seeing, another example of what happens when for an African American, when a traffic stop literally turns into a death sentence. And that's what it sounds like happened here. Certainly keep us apprised of what happens with this lawsuit.
Will do. Thank you.
Folks, going to a quick break. We'll be right back. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
They said the quiet part out loud. Black votes are a threat, so they erased them. After the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act in 2013, Republican legislatures moved fast. New voter ID laws, polling place shutdowns, purges of black voters from the rolls. Trump's Justice Department didn't stop it, they joined in. In 2018, his DOJ backed Ohio's voter purge system, a scheme that disproportionately erased black voters. Their goal, erase black votes and political power. Yeah, that happened. These are the kinds of stories that we cover every day on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Subscribe on YouTube and download the Black Star Network app. Support fact-based independent journalism that centers African Americans and the issues that matter to our community.
Hello. I'm Jerry Johnson from Harlem on Prime, and you're watching the Black Star Network.
All right, folks, today marks the 14th day of the government shutdown, and the Senate did not hold a vote today, as it is a federal holiday. Is Indigenous People Day, or what others call Columbus Day, the guy who actually got lost and so-called founded the country. More than 4,000 federal employees have recently received layoff notices due to the ongoing political standoff. Approximately 700 staff members who were mistakenly fired from the CDC on Friday have been reinstated, according to the American Federation of Government Employees. Let me deal with that with my panel. Dr. Omi Congo, being a senior professorial lecturer, School of International Service, American University, author of Lies About Black People, How to Combat Racism out of D.C., Renita Shannon, full majority state representative, as well as Eugene Craig, CEO, X Factor Media, Inc., out of Baltimore. It shows you, Renita, the sheer stupidity of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert Kennedy, that you would fire all of these specialists on Friday, and here we are Monday, you have to reinstate them. These are the Keystone Cops. These are true idiots, and the fact that these people are in control of the government is pretty shameful.
Right, and it's not the first time, because we saw that when the Trump administration first came into office, they had Doge going on where Elon Musk was running around firing lots of federal workers. And what was not loudly reported, as loud as the firings, what was not loudly reported was the fact that a lot of those workers that Elon Musk fired without any rhyme or reason or even knowing what they were doing had to be rehired. So this is a constant pattern with the Trump administration of them not having any sort of critical thinking or any sort of plan around what they do, and they just jump into action. And that's not the way that government works. This is, it's just more of the same. And unfortunately, it's a lot more expensive for the country to get back these folks when you have let folks go. And, people, not everybody is just going to say, hey, I'll just come right back to work. So this has just been more of the same of just a chaotic administration.
Not only that, Eugene, it's just totally disruptive to an individual and their family. I mean, all of a sudden, you get notice, hey, you're fired on Friday. Over the weekend, you deal with that. It's like, oh, sorry, my bad. Come back on Monday.
I mean, it sounds like to me that the literal intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence as well. The thing is this, right? What everybody has to understand is that they are literally doing what they told you they were going to do. For years, they said, hey, we want to scale down the federal bureaucracy. And now they have the opportunity to do it. They tried to force it with Doge. And now they say, because we have this government shutdown, we're just going to eventually just start firing people and use the shutdown as a reason to do it. But because it's what they've always wanted to do. And now they have the window of opportunity.
Congo?
Yeah, I mean, going to Renita's point, the people they fired the first time around are people who worked for the nuclear, handling the nuclear, energy, and they had to bring them back. And when they tried to bring them back, they couldn't find them because they didn't have their personal email addresses, and they shut off the access to their own emails, their work emails. So they had to struggle to find them. And I'm going to assume that this is probably happening right now as well. And I think to the last point, it's important that people do get reminded of the fact that this was Roosevelt's planned all of the time. Feels like there's too many Democrats who work in the government. Feels like the government's too big. And one of the things that I appreciated was that some of the people who have been laid off, because some folks are not coming back, right? Some people who have been laid off have said, Democrats, we still want you to keep it up. We still want you to keep the fight going because we know that you're fighting for this country. And for a group that has been so control of the messaging, talking about the Republican Party, this is a message that they're losing. You see with the airport delays and things, people don't want to play the videos in the airports of Kristi Noem. And so Democrats have to keep pushing this, but the people who are being laid off, even the ones who are being invited back, they also have to keep pushing this because this is a narrative that Democrats with their singular messaging have been able to start controlling. And Mike Johnson and John Thune and all of these guys, they look like fools out there. Everybody knows that this is about covering up for Epstein, and everybody knows this is about a shutdown that they want to use to continue to implement what they already told us they were going to do, as has been said.
You got 1.4 million federal employees that have been furloughed without pay. To that particular point there, Renita, when you look at what's going on here, Republicans having to own this, and of course they're trying all they can to say, "Oh, it's Jeffries, it's Schumer," but we know what's going on here. They do not want to roll back these health care cuts. And Democrats are saying we're going to remain steadfast. In fact, you guys, if y'all had that video that Congressman Hakeem Jeffries put out on social, let's roll that video that speaks directly to this issue. Renita, to this point, what you're saying is you're seeing Democrats really hone on the health care issue, and that appears to be an argument that is gaining traction with voters.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad the Democrats are holding the line because that is not usually what happens. Usually what happens is Democrats will say, hey, we got to be the bigger people in the room and we have to figure out some type of compromise. And I heard this so many times in the legislature where Democrats would say, hey, well, we'll go ahead and vote for the thing that's not the worst thing that the Republicans came out with first. And so it became almost a game where Republicans knew they could come out with the worst bill and the Democrats would reject it. And then they would come with something in the middle, which was still terrible and harmful to the general public. And then the Democrats would say, oh, okay, we got to vote for this because the most harmful thing is not what they are pushing since they have the majority. But Democrats are not doing that this time. And I'm so glad because it looks like in this instance, Democrats are waking up and realizing that when you decide to vote for a bill, whether you feel like that bill is perfect or not, you're going along with what the language that's in the bill. And Democrats are standing strong now saying, no, we are not going to budge on reducing access to health care for our constituents or anybody else. This is one of the singular most important issues on both sides of the aisle. People know that they need access to health care. And any bill that would make the premiums higher for healthcare, people are already complaining about how much healthcare costs. It's already a struggle, especially for people who are small business owners. It's a struggle for everybody. And so I am really glad that Democrats are holding the line. And I don't care how long the government has to stay closed. Democrats cannot vote for something that is going to make sure to take away access from folks.
Again, you have to hammer the point home, Eugene. And I think that's what they're doing. And clearly, it's having an impact on Republicans. And let's also be clear, Eugene, Mike Johnson does not want to deal with the Jeffrey Epstein issue.
He doesn't want to deal with the Epstein issue. It's the reason they aren't seating the member that was newly elected in Arizona. Because one more time, her vote would be, her sign on to the discharge position would be the last vote needed to actually force a vote on it. But you got to keep in mind, one more time, this shutdown has given them, in their eyes, the Republicans' eyes, the opportunity to do a lot of things they wanted to do when it comes to Obamacare subsidies. They wanted to gut Obamacare from the day it was passed. And what the public has to understand is this, right? These subsidies go away. A big swath of middle class America, folks that make a little bit too much from Medicaid, but make just a little too little to actually be able to afford private health insurance, are going to see their health care insurance, prices double, triple, maybe even quadruple. People forget what it was like pre-Obamacare when health insurance companies could come in and limit what services you got, or didn't cover pre-existing conditions, or didn't were forced to cover this now in the healthcare bill of rights. So the fight that the Democrats are fighting is a good fight, and the public needs to stand strong behind them. And the thing is this: Mike Johnson knows he's fighting a losing fight. He knows that the second that the government opens it back up, or he brings the House back into session, that this Epstein issue will move forward, and that just puts the light back on him and Donald Trump and others that have ran around with with Jeffrey Epstein, for the amount of time that they did. And I also had to give a shout out to Senate Dems, because at the end of the day, right, even if Johnson brought the House back, some majority rules in the House, but it's the Senate rules and Senate Democrats that are holding steadfast to those rules that is holding Team Trump accountable right now in this budget.
Look, it's the thing that we have to consistently look at on Congo, and I'm gonna tell you right now. So you're Republicans who are like, "Oh, Affordable Care Act, it's too expensive. Premiums have gone up. It's not affordable." Okay, where's your plan? Because you don't have one. Donald Trump promised one for 4 years, never, ever, ever came up with one. You even got nutcase Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene saying we don't have a health care plan.
Yeah, what do they say? Concepts of a plan, like you said in the debate. And even going back to his first administration, we're talking 10 years overall here. They have no plan, have no alternatives, and they think that they can just keep throwing out terms like, oh, their policies are socialist, their policies are radical this, make sure they throw out every trigger word that they've been using over the years. And eventually it runs out. Eventually people realize that all you have is talk and bluster, but no plan. They have no plan for anything. And people who talked about Donald Trump won because he ran on the economy and what he was going to do for the economy and healthcare. The man ran on tariffs, and he ran on cutting taxes for the rich. Those were his economic plans. And so for people, hopefully, are finally waking up to realize that. Maybe those who weren't involved in voting, maybe those Republicans and independent voters who thought he was going to be their savior. If y'all don't realize that these guys were all about nothing, where's the healthcare plan in Project 2025? They got a damn 1,000-page document, and where's the health plan? And so these people have been frauds as it relates to this from the beginning, and they're finally being called out on it. And Mike Johnson can talk about call people Antifa this and call people socialist this and anti-American that, but people know a fraud when they see it. And Mike Johnson and the entire Republican Party, starting from Trump down, is finally being realized by others, because we already knew that, the emperor has no clothes and they have no plan. And if y'all thought what was happening with Obamacare was going to be expensive, look what's about to be happening over these next few weeks. And it's going to be game over for Republicans, hopefully.
Yeah, that's a question that we will see. All right, folks, got to go to break. We come back more on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Don't forget to support the work that we do. If you want to support that work, what do? That is, first of all, you join our Green and Funk fan club. Your dollars make it possible to do the work that we do, covering the stories that matter to our community. You want to contribute via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code. You see it right here in the bottom left-hand corner. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Checks and money orders make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Back in a moment.
Week on the other side of change.
We are talking about the government shutdown and how it's impacting our everyday lives, including our pocketbooks.
These motherfuckers are crazy as hell. They are willing to shut down the entire government, to force people to pay more in their health care, to subsidize tax breaks for the wealthiest people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Calker. Now, the America we live in today is not what the founders intended or what they outlined in the Declaration of Independence and even the Constitution. Professor and author Kermit Roosevelt will join us to talk about his book, The Nation That Never Was. How history was misinterpreted, the intent and realities of America's beginnings, and missed a much better story in the process.
So if you have to pick some group to marginalize, I think it should be the people who are against equality.
That's next on the Black Table, right here on the Black Star Network.
I'm Risa Colbert, and you're watching the Black Star Network.
Next month, voters in Houston's 18th Congressional District will go to the polls to select a number of folk who are running for that congressional position. It was vacated when Congressman Sylvester Turner passed away earlier this year. He had just been elected to fill the position after the death of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. There are a number of people who are running for that position. We're going to be talking to several of the leading candidates this week. Joining us right now is Harris County Attorney Christian Menifee, one of the candidates. Christian, glad to have you on the show. Again, lots of folks who are seeking this position. What is your foremost priority if you were elected to lead the 18th Congressional District? And we know, obviously, it's being gerrymandered, so you really be sitting in the position only for a year, depending on the outcome of court rulings regarding this.
My goal is to help make the Democratic Party into an opposition party, not just a minority party. Time and again, you look across this country and you're seeing that folks are calling out for fighters on the Democratic side, and not just folks who fight cosmetically for cosmetic reasons, but folks who fight and win. And that's exactly what I've done as Harris County Attorney. I've taken Greg Abbott to court to defend our voting rights and beat him, gone to court against Ken Paxton, who is Donald Trump's favorite attorney general, and beat him to ensure that we have clean air and clean water. And this year, beaten the Trump administration in court multiple times. And it's not about just litigating, but it's about using the tools at your disposal to fight and win. And that's exactly the type of time that I plan to be on in Congress, ensuring that folks in Congress are going to stand up and fight for each and every person in our communities and not let Donald Trump run roughshod over our Constitution and our laws.
Obviously, that is, we say the opposition party, that's national in scope, but the reality is a member of Congress is elected to represent anywhere from 700 to 850,000 people. What is your priority for the 18th Congressional District?
I want my district to be one of the best places to live and raise a family in all the state of Texas. We have the highest number of folks who are SNAP beneficiaries. And despite that, the Trump administration and the Republican majority in Congress are cutting SNAP benefits. Texas has the largest uninsured population in all of the country. And we see that Republicans are cutting Medicaid. I want folks in my community to have health care, and that's why I'm the only candidate in this race who supports Medicare for all. I want to make sure that our communities are beautiful. Right now, if you walk through many of the communities in the 18th, you see kids walking in the middle of the street because there's no sidewalks. And they're not walking to a grocery store, they're walking to a corner store because many of our communities have food deserts. So I want to do everything I can to bring resources back to my communities to make sure that people are retiring at a reasonable age, that people have health care, that our communities are beautiful, and that we're addressing environmental justice issues. But you can't get any of that done if you have somebody in the White House who's cutting the EPA budget by 60%, who is eliminating the Environmental Justice Department at the EPA, who is time and again across the federal government getting rid of the programs that help our people thrive. And so that's why I plan to go up there and do all I can to fight back against the Trump administration.
Obviously, that's a huge part there. You talked about improving the community. The other issue that obviously jumps out for some of the people is affordability when it comes to housing as well. Your priority there?
I want more attainable housing. And I think the problem is in this country, we have an extreme shortage of attainable housing. That's because in many, many areas, it is far too hard to build. But there are many other people in our community who just simply can't afford the housing because they don't have the liquidity. If you look at my family, for example, we didn't buy our first house until I was in high school. And that's because my parents were able to put only $500 down because of a VA down payment assistance program. Former Vice President Kamala Harris championed a down payment assistance program for folks across communities. And I want to stand in the gap and do that exact kind of work as well. But we also have to go after the corporate landlords who are coming in, buying up properties across our communities, jacking up the prices, or in some instances, putting multiple Airbnbs in a neighborhood like mine, which didn't have any 2 years ago and now has 5 or 6, including one that sleeps 10 people. It's about ensuring that the housing that goes in our community is the type of housing that can be purchased by families who are looking for their fair shot at the American dream and not large corporate landlords who are just going to run up the prices and run people out of town.
Questions from my panelists. I'm going to go you first.
Wishing you the best of luck, Mr. Menifee, on your campaign. We're reading stories about the Department of Education cutting the parts of the department that deal with areas like special education and the like. What are your plans as it relates to working with this administration as it relates to everything that they're doing to slash education, which is going to affect your constituents if it's not already?
There is no working with this administration on education. As you all know, they put the head of a professional wrestling organization in charge of the Department of Education with no plan other than to completely eliminate it. And that means something to me because I would not be here were it not for public education. I grew up in all public schools and had free lunch in our public school system and played football. And after I left football, thought that life was probably not going to be much for me, but ultimately had a teacher who cared enough about me to say, hey, you can talk well, you should join the debate team. Fast forward, and I became the youngest person and the first African-American to serve as Harris County attorney. Our teachers should be paid 6 figures. Our schools should be palaces. And in Congress, I plan to fight like hell to ensure that we're bringing funding down for our Title I schools, wraparound services. But here in the state of Texas, where we have some of the lowest spending per pupil of any state in the entire country, I have to do all I can to help folks get elected across the state as well, because we need to flip this state. That's where education on the public side is funded at the state level. So I'll do all I can to defend the Department of Education at the federal level and to get folks elected at the state level that's going to better fund our public education system in Texas.
Renita?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for your campaign, particularly the part where you talked about helping Democrats move closer to being a true opposition party, because what many folks don't realize is we've never actually seen a real opposition party in this country to Republican leadership. So it makes a difference. And so I really appreciate your sentiments on that. If you can, give us, tell me what are yours, when you talked about corporate landlords, what specific policies would you support to rein in corporate landlords?
I want to boost the CFPB. I want our federal agencies to be in a position to go after folks who come to communities, who buy properties, and who force folks out. I've been very active here on the ground in ensuring that we're protecting the wealth that Black folks are getting in buying housing. So if you look, for example, here in the Harris County area, across our communities, we had folks who were going in and committing deed fraud. This is on a mass level, stealing from mostly Black and immigrant communities. They would go in, file fraudulent deeds, and then be able to steal homes out from under people. And we filed a lawsuit against those folks and were able to get 40 people their home ownership restored. So you're seeing it at a macro level of people stealing homes out from under folks. You're seeing a lot of these corporate landlords come in, buy properties, and then ultimately it changes the character of the community. I plan to work with the city and the county here locally to make sure that we're fighting gentrification, that we're fighting folks coming in and buying up properties and making it into an Airbnb haven. You've seen some local governments that have banned that type of activity. I believe that one of the jobs of a member of Congress is to be a convener and to come in and solve people's problems. That's one of the things that anybody who knew the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee would tell you is her job duties were not described by a single statute. It was when people had a problem, you go in and find a solution. I have been that person as the county attorney in Harris County, doing whatever I can to find a solution to an issue. And in Congress, I will have a bigger opportunity to be able to impact my communities as well.
Eugene, what's your question?
Well, great to meet you, Mr. Menifee, finally. One of my good friends, Teresa Jones, supporting you. I guess my question is, I know, look, you get elected in November, you're still going to be in a minority with the Dems. But come at post-2026, you may very well see a Speaker Jeffries and Dems in a majority. So my question is, once Democrats take the majority back, what are your plans? Or I guess not plans, but more so, what would you like to see Democrats do to assert Article I power and fully restore, at least two co-equal branches of government, and claw back a lot of the congressional power that's been ceded? Because that's the only thing that can really hold an out-of-control administration accountable is actual congressional authority.
Yeah, so before we get a Democratic speaker, one of the parts of the job is going to be working across the aisle. And I believe that that's something you do at the interpersonal level. And I've done it many times as county attorney. When we had a large corporation that was trying to expand a landfill more deeply into a Black community out here, I teamed up with a Republican. We filed suit and we were able to block that from happening. When large cigarette companies were getting our kids hooked on vaping out here in Texas, I teamed up with our Republican Attorney General, filed a lawsuit, and was able to get tens of millions of dollars back for mitigation programs to protect kids against that type of deceptive marketing. So that will be the job for the next year leading up into Democrats winning the House back. But once we win the House back, I think the name of the game is the power of the Oversight Committee. That committee has the ability to investigate just about anything in administration. And certainly when you have a president who is spending dollars in ways that were not congressionally appropriated and a president who is refusing to spend dollars in ways that were congressionally appropriated, that's going to be where the power base of the House of Representatives will be. And as someone who has been the county attorney, who has been a lawyer in private practice for years before that, I think I'm well equipped to do well there. And I want to be clear, it is in the legacy of the 18th Congressional District to do that kind of work. In the early 70s, when the House Judiciary Committee was meeting over a break-in in the Watergate Hotel, they called on the gentle lady from the 18th Congressional District of Texas. This was Barbara Jordan. She gave one of the most phenomenal speeches you'll ever hear in politics. And one of the things she said was, I will not sit idly by to the subversion, to the diminution, to the destruction of our Constitution. You fast forward, and that speech is part of the fabric that leads to Richard Nixon resigning from the presidency. That power is directly in the bloodline of the 18th Congressional District of Texas. So I look forward to continuing that work of holding a corrupt president accountable. Richard Nixon was corrupt, but Donald Trump has been far more corrupt than we have ever seen from any president in the history of this country. And I look forward to working just as hard, if not harder, to be able to ensure that he's held accountable.
All right, then, Christian Menifee. We certainly appreciate you on the show. Certainly good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks a bunch. Folks, going to break. We come back. New Orleans, election Latina mayor there. What's up with Louisiana losing all of these Black mayors? We'll talk about that also. We got the Crockett Chronicles. That's next, right here, Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's the time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
What's up? It's your girl, Tamika D. Mallory, and you are watching the Black Star Network.
Folks, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of the 30th Congressional District in Texas, boy, she is always bringing the funk, and she did that recently in a House hearing. Watch.
They continue to say, trust us. These tax credits won't expire until December. Just trust us. We will negotiate. Well, I have news for our colleagues across the aisle. Trust must be earned. It is not given. You see, President Trump swore in on January 20th, and since then, congressional Republicans have perpetuated an economic war on Americans. They asked us to trust them on the price of eggs, yet they've made it harder for Americans to buy any and all groceries. They asked us to trust them when it came to the cost of housing, but it's become more difficult to pay your rent or mortgage. They asked us to trust them when it came down to looking out for the best interest of our children. Yet we know that the cost to send your child to daycare or college has only increased. The only thing that I can tell you that we should trust the Republicans to do is to basically play in our faces. You see, the one thing that we should do is distrust everything that they say, and that is why Democrats are here today fighting. We showed up to work because we understand that in this shutdown, we are still getting paid. Unfortunately, those that work for the federal government are not going to be paid. They are about to miss their first checks. And so it is so interesting that someone can say, we're not going to show up to work. We're not going to do everything that we can to reopen the government. But yes, you must show up. What I have to say to those hardworking federal employees and those that happen to be out sick right now is that I anticipate that a lot of people are going to catch a lot of colds in the coming days, because it seems like the only thing that these people will understand is if we have a real shutdown, a shutdown in which the people that actually make this country go start acting like the Republicans, and they just decide that they're also not going to show up, because at the end of the day, we have a president who recently said that he doesn't know whether or not he even wants to pay people when we do reopen this government. In just 8 months, Republicans have shattered an already broken public health system. Their one big ugly bill enacted the largest cuts to health care in American history. Texas, under Republican rule for over 30 years, already had the highest uninsured rate in the country. And now an additional 1.6 million Texans are projected to lose their health insurance. But I want to be clear about this. This isn't just about those that will lose health insurance, because at the end of the day, we all will be impacted. Everyone's healthcare costs will go up, and everyone may end up missing a hospital or a doctor because of the reckless policies of the Republicans. Just in my district, a 60-year-old couple making $80,000 a year would see their premiums increase by nearly $20,000. A family of four making $64,000 a year would see an increase of $2,571, roughly 197%. Stripping away healthcare is just one aspect of their economic and healthcare assault on Americans. They've eliminated critical funding for local health departments and community organizations doing critical public health work. So we're here today because Republicans have once again chosen to prioritize billionaires and corporations over everyday Americans. Veterans, teachers, students, law enforcement officers, members of the military, factory workers, bus drivers, all of whom will be hurt by Republican healthcare assault on Americans. I'm here today to speak for the 90,000 people in my district who will see an increase in their healthcare cost and the millions of Texans who could lose their coverage if we don't extend the tax credits. And I wish that Republicans would put as much energy into doing their jobs and protecting healthcare of their constituents as they do into protecting Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Maya Angelou said, when they show you who they are, believe them the first time. The final point that I'll make is that some people in this building know that I have a best friend by the name of Marjorie Taylor Greene. She even recently stated, I'm going to go against everyone on this issue because when the tax credits expire this year, my own adult children's insurance premiums for 2026 are going to double. Now, the fact that Marjorie and I agree on anything tells you how bad this is. America, it is time to call your representatives, your Republican representatives, and tell them to show up and do their jobs. Thank you, and I will yield.
So, it's very interesting to me, Ome Congo, when you have sports commentators who veer into politics, who want to chastise Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett as saying somehow she is being too loud, abrasive, and ineffective, when clearly that was not the case. She laid out a very cogent argument there. I guess that's the difference between those of us who actually follow her work as opposed to those who just run their mouths about her work.
Yeah, and Stephen A. Smith has been running his mouth a lot, as he's always running his mouth, and he just has a particular disdain, it seems, for Black women and Black women who are doing powerful things. And Stephen A. Smith doesn't really even appear in Black spaces like that to be able to even have a comment. He needs to leave her alone. He's spending all of this time talking about, she shouldn't bite the hand that feeds her. You don't want to upset the boss. Trump is not her boss. Her boss is her constituents, and she's out there every single day fighting for them. And I just heard a story over this weekend about how she had to get fitted for a bulletproof vest because of what she's dealing with. And people like Stephen A. Smith of the world are making it worse for her. So I continue to applaud what she's doing. I continue to applaud the way she just shows up and does her job. And she's got to deal with it from the Stephen A. Smiths to the Laura Loomers of the world. But luckily, she knows that you and us and everybody in our sphere have her back. But she shouldn't have to be out there being targeted like this. But when you're fighting for the people, when you're fighting for the truth, you are going to get haters like that. And I'm hoping that Stephen A. Smith has gotten enough blowback that he will leave her alone. But I know she's probably unfazed by it, but enough of us are pissed off about it. But she needs to keep doing her thing. We have her back. And yeah, she's like, yo, I'm even out here agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene because Jasmine Crockett is about the work of the people. And it doesn't matter who is on a different side of the party or political spectrum. If they're about the people, she's going to be there, unlike Stephen A. Smith.
The thing that also is crazy here to me, Renita, is if you don't actually know, this is what a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't even understand what the hell a member of Congress does. People don't even know what the hell a state rep does or a state senator. They don't really know what a council member does. And I say this all the time. And so this notion that you got 435 members of the House, 100 in the United States Senate, but there are so many different things that a member of Congress works on. Not only constituent services, okay, their job is to serve their constituencies, but also they have committee assignments. And so that's the unsexy stuff. That's the stuff nobody wants to talk about. Now, we show a lot of her comments in hearings, also a Congresswoman Summer Lee, a Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. But unless you are a C-SPAN, nut, you don't see this stuff. So I heard this. It was just, to me, it was just a silly commentary from Stephen A. Because I'm like, dude, you just don't even know what the hell member of Congress does.
Right. No, you could not be more right, Roland. People would call my office all the time asking me to handle things that are on the city level. People really do not understand what their representatives do. And so for him to be this loud and wrong is just amazing. But we already know this. Stephen A. Smith is somebody who wakes up every day and tries to figure out how to be the good Black as white supremacists would say about Black folks who would make sure to shout down other Black folks who were poo-pooing white supremacy. This is not the first time that he has done this. And he really doesn't know what he's talking about, because from that clip, and I didn't see that entire meeting, and this is kind of getting into the weeds, but from that clip, the way that it's shot, it looks like she is actually testifying before some sort of committee meeting. So she's actually doing extra work by what she's doing. And I say that because usually when someone is testifying before a committee or testifying in a meeting that they are not a part of that committee, or they are not a part of the leadership of the committee, or formally called to be at a committee, they sit behind a desk like what she was seated behind, and there are two other people next to you with the little placard cards right in front. And so she's actually doing extra work, and Stephen is making, comments about how she needs to not be as loud. It is her business as a representative to get involved and speak up about anything that is going to affect her constituents. And the really good reps, and I did this all the time, the really good reps will speak about things that not only affect their constituents, but also the entire nation, the entire state, the things that affect everybody. So people should just disregard what Stephen is talking about. I think this is just a continuation of him tossing around, thinking about running for president, trying to, make nice with people who will never support him.
So we're having a fire alarm issue here. This actually happened earlier, so I'm going to go to Eugene here. And Eugene, I hear people. Oh, good, it stopped. I hear people, Eugene, complain all the time. Man, the CBC, they ain't doing nothing. The CBC, they ain't doing nothing. And I'm like, you don't even realize. And I've said this before, Eugene. People don't even realize that you can be a member and your name's not on the bill. You're not even sponsoring the bill, but you can insert language into a bill. You can insert things into a bill that could lead to millions of dollars for your constituents and others just by you slipping it into a particular bill because you're on a committee. That's the stuff that people don't understand happens every single day. I mean, I remember when Biden Harris were there and people were just like, oh my God, look at the billions that Biden Harris are giving to HBCUs. Well, actually, Biden and Harris were not giving billions to HBCUs. That money was being appropriated through a subcommittee, the House Education Subcommittee. Now, for the people who don't understand politics, who don't even understand the United States Constitution, any federal law that involves money must originate in the House of Representatives. Let me say it again. It must originate in the House. So Bobby Scott of Virginia, Congressman Bobby Scott of Virginia, my alpha brother, was doing yeoman's work. He was sitting here because he was a ranking chair. So again, let me just give some people some politics 101. You have the chair, then you have the ranking member. Well, at the time, Democrats control the House. So Democrats control how the committee worked. He was the chair of a subcommittee. He was the one who was driving the money. And I remember I wanted him to come on because people were out here saying stuff to get credit. He's like, he's like, nah, bro. He's like, listen, like, I'm good. He said, I'm trying to do as much as I can, as fast as I can, because we don't know how long we're going to have this power. That's what I'm doing. So if you right now, if you black around America, you like, brother, who the hell is that? I ain't never heard it. You know why? Because you don't see Congressman Bobby Scott on The View. And let me be clear. I'm not shading Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. But the point I'm making is there are political figures who are highly effective, who serve different purposes. So there are people who are quiet. They get the work done. There are others who are far more vocal, like Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. And let me say this here, and Stephen A. has no idea even what I'm about to tell you right now. According to Black Pack, and we had Adrian Shopshot on the show, and I wish they would have released the actual data, the approval ratings of Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett among black people are on the level of Obama.
Yep.
So I think black people have spoken, and Stephen A. might want to look at the Black Pack poll. So I would encourage him to actually book Adrian Shropshire, who is the director of Black Pack. Book Cornell Belcher, a pollster. Book Terrence Woodbury, a pollster, if he wants to understand why Jasmine Crockett resonates. And last point, Eugene, I've had black Republicans, I've had other Republicans, white Republicans tell me the Republican Party, why do they hate Jasmine Crockett? This was a quote, Eugene, because she's effective.
Yep. Look, this is the thing, right? So it's a lot to unpack there. First and foremost, I don't Stephen A. bitch to ever book any of those people because they don't fit his audience or the people that support his show. Secondly, I have a friend, Mayor Harris, that coined the term for, I'm going to edit it for this show, sassy man apocalypse. He's the epitome of that. He takes his time on his podcast to drag black women in politics. When he lets them like a Kristi Noem, of our modern day Sarah Palins, our Marjorie Taylor Greenes, and then let's not forget he just lets the men skate on them by, right? No matter how much damage they do. But this is the thing. I'm glad you gave that breakdown of how Congress actually works, how things actually get done in the committee system, and our sung and unsung hero in Congressman Bobby Scott. Because hey, guess what? The people that are watching or listening to that Stephen A. Bitch podcast are not going to get that kind of information, but they will absolutely get it here on the Black Star Network because, hey, we're here doing a public good and service for our community. Now, what people have to understand is absolutely there are different roles for different people in this process, and this is where I kind of hate how, as a Republican, how the Democrat Party handled Jasmine Crockett. Because, hey, you will have her fly around the country to raise money for your candidates. You will attach her name to your fundraising letters. You will have your state parties book her out. You will have her, exhaust herself for the cause, but then not give her the manner of leadership that she deserves to help further that cause, the way that she sees fit on using her own talents. But the thing is this, right? Everybody has their role because, she does have that sky high approval rating. And Republicans are absolutely terrified of her. I think, a Ted Cruz, they decide to mess with her district. A Ted Cruz should probably be terrified that she may jump into that Senate race, or Governor Hot Wheels should be terrified that she may take him on. But I think she may be the one that actually could push Texas over that hump finally. But my thing is this: at the end of the day, this is why Black-owned media matters, right? This is why the Black Star Network matters. This is why other Black-owned, Black-centered, Black-focused, Black audience-targeted media matters. Because when you have people like Stephen A. Bitch that, can just by namesake, I don't get a show. And I'll take onus on that, right? Can just walk on.
No. Here's my deal. Here's my deal. Here's my whole deal. First of all,
This is important. This is very important.
Come on. Wrap it up.
The thing is this: when white establishments are handing out the kind of funding and support for people to espouse, literal misinformation, it's important for networks like this to exist, so the actual truth is there and people are informed that dividend takes place and people have the information to actually make informed decisions when they go into the voting booth. That's what this comes down to.
Look, my position is very simple. I don't waste time with name calling. I don't need to. I believe in facts. I believe people need to understand, and too many people have no understanding of facts. I believe it's our responsibility as journalists to speak the facts. And so the problem is when you do not have facts about a person and what their role is, then you're just spouting and saying things. That to me, and I've seen that to me was the problem that I had with Stephen A's commentary. It wasn't fact-based. And he didn't have an understanding of what her role is, what her job is, and what she does on a daily basis. Again, and the reason I can speak to this because I am registered in the 30th Congressional District. I vote in the 30th Congressional District. And what people don't understand is members of Congress There are 435 House members. They represent districts that make up between 750 and 850,000 people. That's y'all reality. They run for re-election every 2 years. What is the most important job of a member of Congress? I'm going to say it again. What is the most important job? Renita, you are on a state level. You know exactly what that is. It's called constituent services. Let me be clear. If you want a guaranteed way to lose your job, you can have a horrible constituent services reputation. That is what the job is. And that's what people don't get. There are people who live and work in congressional districts who say, I need this from my member of Congress, and they go to them, and that person's job is to then try to work within the system, with the rules and whatever the hell. It's what their job is, y'all. Now, when you talk about what Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett does when she is testifying and when she is doing it her way, I would say to Stephen A., please tell me the difference between a Jim Jordan, a Tim Burchett, a Rand Paul. I mean, I could go on and on and on. So, also, squeaky wheel gets the most grease. And the fact of the matter is, and this will be my last point. That again, if you understand facts, why does MSNBC shows and CNN shows, and trust me, Fox News would love for Jasmine Crockett to come on. But why do these networks constantly book Congresswoman Crockett? Because she rates. Stephen A. is always talking about how well he does at ESPN and how he rates. That's why she gets booked. Because people watch, people listen. And there are people in this country, Republicans, who even say, hey, I disagree with her in policy, but I like that she's a fighter. So I just wish people, when they start running their mouths about who ain't doing what they ain't doing, check your facts. Check your facts so you understand what the job requires. Quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about New Orleans electing Latina mayor. Black majority city joins a number of other Louisiana cities that don't have black mayors. What's up with black politics in Louisiana? You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered right here on the Black Star Network.
This week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, how do you get a grip in business? Is it grace? Is it resilience? Is it retooling your skill set? Are you leading with intention, with purpose, passion, and planning?
It's basically a very simple formula. It's learning how to close the gap between your intentions in business and your actions in business.
You gotta be relentless, you gotta execute. And that's the grit part of it.
That's all this week on A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie here on Black Star Network.
This week on The Other Side of Change,
we are talking about the government shutdown and how it's impacting our everyday lives, including our pocketbooks.
These motherfuckers are crazy as hell. They are willing to shut down the entire government, to force people to pay more in their health care, to subsidize tax breaks for the wealthiest people.
You're watching The Other Side of Change only on the Black Star Network.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase, and I'm here with a very important message. We are at a turning point in the Black community where we must have equity in the apps we use that scale to billions of dollars. But this time, we own the infrastructure, we own the culture, and we shape the future. And Fanbase is the future. Fanbase combines the free functionality of Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube into an all-in-one platform built for the evolution of social media and monetization. With over 1.4 million users, that's real proof that we are shifting the conversation of tech ownership and equity for creators. So right now, I want you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share. This marks a turning point in Black ownership of social media. If we don't take this opportunity to own social media right now, we will always be customers to our own creations. And that can't go on. So once again, go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. We must own the platforms where our voices live, our stories matter, and where our culture drives the world. Thank you.
If in this country right now, you have people get up in the morning and the only thing they can think about is how many people they can hurt, and they got the power, that's a time for mourning.
For better or worse, what makes America special, it's that legal system that's supposed to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
We are at a point of a moral emergency. We must raise a voice of outrage. We must raise a voice of compassion. And we must raise a voice of unity.
We are not in a crisis of party versus party. We are in a crisis of civilization, a human rights crisis, and a crisis of democracy itself. And guess what? You've been chosen to make sure that those that would destroy, those that would hate, don't have the final say, and they don't ultimately win.
Hey, what's up? It's Sammy Roman.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show.
It's me, Sherry Shepherd, and you know what you're watching, Roland Martin, Unfiltered.
Folks, never say that protest does not work. The Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality has denied a UK company's request to increase pollution at its plant in a town in Mississippi, more than 100 miles from Hattiesburg. Residents of Gloucester are concerned that DRAC seeks to be reclassified as a major polluter, which could lead to the release of more toxins in the air, potentially increasing the health risk for the community. Now, this company, DRAX, D-R-A-X, has an extensive history of violations, and in an uncommon decision, the permit board voted against their application. But the company still wants to add more pollution to the area. Joining us right now is Crystal Martin from the Greater Greener Gloucester Project. Crystal, glad you could join us right now. So the facility that, first of all, what has been the impact of this company when it comes to the pollution and the air quality in that town and in the state?
Yes, the impact that we are currently seeing in Gloucester is major health impacts. A lot of residents in our community are suffering from breathing issues, upper respiratory issues, including many people passing away from lung cancer, residents being diagnosed with COPD. A number of our residents are on oxygen, and they have to use this oxygen 24/7. So we're just seeing a lot of health impacts right now in the community. There's dust everywhere, and then we have noise 24/7 coming from that plant.
Now, have y'all had analysis done of the air quality in your area compared to other areas, other towns around you?
We've not had the opportunity to really analyze our air. We started out working with the EPA before it was dismantled, and we were in the process of applying for some of the IRA funds so that we could continue to analyze the air. We reached out to MDEQ when Drax was first fined $2.5 million. And one of the questions that I had for the director was, are you going to invest some of that money back into our community so that we can begin to analyze our air, so that we can have an air monitor local in our community? Because if we're dealing with air quality issues, then we need to be able to analyze our air. in our own community, but we don't have access, nor do we have an air monitor even in the vicinity of our community. So right now we're having issues being able to monitor our air. We need, we need resources to be able to invest in our own air monitor.
So this is a perfect example of what we've often talked about, the racist actions of the Trump administration. By them slashing the EPA, declaring settlements and other deals as old as DEI. They don't care about the lives of Black people. They claim to be pro-life, but they actually do not care. And so even when you had efforts by the Biden-Harris EPA to change these historical issues, Trump comes along and allows these companies to do whatever they want to. And that's why, first of all, it was surprising that Mississippi has denied this permit because, I mean, in many of these red states, they let companies do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yes, but we've been fighting back because a number of our residents are sick. So, I mean, we're pushing back. I tell people all the time, I left my career. I worked in higher education, and I left my career because I was determined that I wanted to fight back, be a voice for my community. My mom is dealing with a lot of breathing issues, and likewise, so many people in our community are suffering from these, the pollution that's in our air. And so I was determined I was going to fight back, and that's what we're doing. I'm here tonight joined by other communities all across the U.S. South who are also impacted by wood pellet industry. And tomorrow we intend to stand up. We're going to stand in solidarity, and we're going to push back against the decision that MDEQ has made. We are asking them to uphold their decision that they made back in April. Do not change. Drax, this permit needs to be denied. Too many people are suffering.
So Crystal, you're saying that they're having another hearing where they may reconsider the denial of that permit. That's taking place tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning, MDEQ at 9 a.m. Yes, Drax did an appeal, and so we have the hearing tomorrow. About 7 of us from my community will be giving testimony tomorrow. We are being represented by attorneys from Earth Justice.
All right. Well, look, this is something that, it's a real deal. It's substantial. We see these things happening across the country, and unfortunately, the federal government has completely abandoned communities, especially Black and brown communities, in their haste to attack DEI. They're just allowing Black and brown communities to be impacted negatively by environmental concerns. They don't care. They're callous about it. And it's shameful that is the case. So that's why whenever they open their mouths and claim they're pro-life, I'm like, no, you're not. You're anti-abortion. You're not pro-life. Because if you don't care about the air quality of people and you're seeing people dying, not just where you are, but in Alabama, they got rid of a settlement regarding the backup of sewage in Lowndes County. You get a lawsuit. They pull out of the lawsuit against chemical companies in Cancer Alley in Louisiana that was killing Black people. And this is par for the course for these maggots in Washington, D.C.
Roland, one of the things that we know when we were working with the EPA, we learned that in Gloucester, Mississippi, our health impacts are worse than Cancer Alley. But we're a small Black rural community. And so, of course, nobody ever notices rural communities. And so we're just here to tell the story. We appreciate this opportunity. We are going to fight back. We're going to push back because too many of our residents continue to be sick. Too many are dying. We're seeing the young people, a young girl under the age of 9 has already started her menstrual and having to take hormone shots. Something is wrong. It's not normal for these communities like ours to have these type of health impacts, and we're going to continue to push back. We appreciate this opportunity. You do not know how much we appreciate this opportunity to tell our story. We're going to continue to shine the light, and tonight I'm super, super excited to be joined by communities from Alabama, from Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. We're standing up against this biomass industry. We're saying enough is enough. And we want to hold Drax accountable, and we're asking MDEQ to deny that permit. Deny the permit.
Well, again, so let folks know that's taking place tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. And is there going to be a live stream somewhere, a live feed somewhere that's happening?
Are we live streaming? I don't know. I don't think we're going to be live streaming tomorrow, but at 8
hopefully. Say it again. 8 a.m. Get a rally. Say it again.
We're having a rally at 8 a.m. in front of MDEQ on A Mid Street in Jackson, Mississippi. Central Time. 8 a.m.
All right there.
Central Time.
8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. All right, Crystal. Well, good luck with it. Keep us abreast of what happens.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks a bunch. You know, Renita, the point she makes there, black rural towns, for all the talk about Republicans and rural America, whenever we hear Republicans say rural America, they mean white people. They don't mean black people like Crystal. They don't mean people living in Gloucester, Mississippi. They don't care. And this to me, and just the wholesale destruction of the EPA, the attack on DEI grants and all of that crap, that was a specific effort to target black people. And this is why I've been saying their whole goal is to defund black America.
Right. But it's also true that Republicans don't really care about race as it relates to the rural area. They don't care about any of those people. They don't care about white people in the rural areas, because you have seen decade after decade after decade. I mean, you can go even as far back as Reagan, when they started to decide that companies had the right to do their production at whatever cost, and whatever that meant for the environmental effects on communities. All of that was completely put to the side and could not be as important. Just to show you how these people think, one day I was in a committee meeting and we were having somebody had presented a bill, a Democrat had presented a bill to say that large trucks, these semi trucks, could not go through residential neighborhoods. And I had the chair of the committee looked me in the eye and said, listen, you can't mess with business. And so for that reason, the bill would not move forward. It wasn't my bill, but I was on the committee. And so for these people, the mindset that they have is whatever the cost is of doing business, that is always going to supersede whatever is good for the public. And that includes even on their own constituents. And like you said, now with the gutting of the EPA, the only thing that has changed now is it will be harder to track the pollution and the environmental harms that come to the public. But Republicans have always stood firm on it being not a priority of theirs to reduce environmental harm to communities. That's been consistent.
Absolutely. And I mean, listen, the environmental issue in Congo is real, and it is so awful. And unfortunately, too many folks just, these Republicans refuse to deal with it. You saw under Michael Regan a very aggressive effort by the EPA to address environmental racism, environmental justice. And these MAGA folks just do not care. They don't give a damn. And if there's black people, they go, oh, that's DEI.
Yep, and they're not going to care until they have to care. And that's one of the powerful things about this story. We never see stories across this country on these news outlets about what people who are black in rural communities are dealing with the exception of here. And when Trump is talking about, we're going to cut programs and, Democrat programs, environmental issues affect every community. It's just a matter of time before it comes to communities that may not be affected in the moment. And so these Republicans, these Trump supporters, these folks in farm country and everything who are rural and white, they need to be getting down with these programs. And the way that they let themselves continually be divided by a person and by a government, as Renita said, who doesn't give a damn about them, who wouldn't let them roll up in Mar-a-Lago to call the cops on them, the way that they continue to be suckered by this, their health outcomes are going to be affected. Their education outcomes are being affected. Their insurance outcomes are being affected. Run down the list. There's not a single benefit that white folks in rural America have received from this administration. So just like Fred Hampton was doing back in the day, you know, white folks in rural America, black folks in rural America, they need to be coming together and fighting this stuff now before it's too late. And I applaud this community in a red state to be able to go hard like that, to fight for their people. She talked about that 9-year-old. We need more of that, and we need more people to be covering this. But these rural folks who are part of the white rural community, if they're not going to get it now, it may already be too late, Roland. And I hope that I'm wrong about that.
Eugene?
You know, I'm actually going to disagree with my co-panelists here. It's actually when these things start hitting white America that people decide to do something, right? You know, we go back and we look at the last decade and a half, and you know, for a long time when different drug epidemics, affected Black and Brown communities, you know, elected officials didn't give a hell about it. The second white folk, the pills, the heroin, the fentanyl started hitting their communities, then it became, oh, we need to soften up on drugs. Oh, now we need to prioritize treatment over incarceration. Even going to, the environmental issues, right? Joe Manchin eventually came around to the effects of black lung and fought tooth and nail for, his constituents that, he sold out for decades. But I do think it is beautiful to see, Black leaders standing up for Black environmental justice. I at one point in time worked for the EPA. Me and Mustafa, joke about that from time to time. But the thing is this, right? Environmental justice is economic justice for Black Americans. When we are dealing with cancer clusters from, power substations and power lines, when we're dealing with pollution, whether it be water or air or smog, these are things that literally affect the health of people. And, I'm glad that, that local and state governments are doing what they need to protect people. But I think there's still more that can be done.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Louisiana. Helena Marino is the new mayor of New Orleans. She beat two Black elected officials, Oliver Thomas, Royce DePlessis, on Saturday. She took a majority of the vote. Had she been under 50%, would have been a runoff. And the numbers were very stark. 80% of white voters in New Orleans voted for her. 70% of Black voters voted against her, went for Thomas or DePlessis. The reality is they split the Black vote, allowing her to dominate white voters. She becomes, of course, the first Latina female mayor in New Orleans history. She is going to be following LaToya Cantrell, who, of course, is term limited and has also been indicted there as well. One of the things that I thought was quite interesting that's very interesting is Gary Chambers posted this, and he said something I thought was quite interesting that was taking place there, Renita. That he said that this is what has happened in Louisiana. He said Louisiana is the second blackest state in America. Yet we've now lost Black mayors in Shreveport, Alexandria, Monroe, Baton Rouge, and now New Orleans. Only Lake Charles will have a Black mayor in 2026 among our largest majority Black cities. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. I understand why he is pointing that out, and it's good that he's specifically pointing that out. Some of it that comes to the top of my mind about why you will continue to see phenomenons like this is because the level of support that goes into supporting Black candidates as it relates to, I'll say, the Democratic Party is not nearly what it looks like when it comes to when white candidates are running. So when white Democrats run, so you have less support, you have less sort of lifting up of Black candidates. I do know Senator DuPlessis, who was in the mayoral race, and I can tell you he did run a good campaign, but there are a lot of things that go into the lack of support that Black candidates get, and it's starting to show up in these mayoral elections. And it's not just the party that refuses to support Black candidates as they run for these seats. It's also, what it also looks like is less media coverage for Black candidates. It's less of everything for Black candidates. So they are never playing on an equal playing field. And what usually tends to happen is, unless they receive more support than what a traditional candidate would need, you're going to see them not do well in the election. I also think that the prior administration, Mayor Cantrell, that administration ended in a it was a very scandalous way, just to put it mildly. There were many, many, many things that were going on in the administration that were terrible for the city. And so you had, I'm sure, a lack of, you had probably sort of a depression amongst Black voters that administration contributed to, because of all of the things that folks in New Orleans found out as that administration left office. So it's kind of not surprising, unfortunately.
I'm going to say this again, and I've said this routinely, Eugene, that what we're also are seeing is we are seeing the disappearance of the black political infrastructure that was in place in a lot of these towns, a lot of these cities. And when that infrastructure, when those machines begin to disappear, you're going to see the result. So those things have to be replaced. Those things have to be rebuilt if we want to talk about holding on to Black political power.
Yeah, I agree. The consultant, wants to do an autopsy among autopsy to figure out exactly what's going on down there. But it does go back to the machine is eroding, right? Like an actual physical machine sitting in a river, if you don't continue to replace the machine, replace the parts of the machine, the river will eventually corrode it out. And that's what's happening now. I think, there's a couple different factors. I think there are some people sitting in office way too long. I think there are people that are just not engaging anymore. But at the end of the day, when you don't elect people that explicitly represent your interests, you're bound to see the results of it. And that's what we're seeing, not just in Louisiana, but across the country, right? We saw it with Tashara Jones. And these machines that, it's celebratory once you get that person elected over the hump. But you got to maintain the machine to make sure the person survives through and then is able to pass the torch on to the next person. And then that's what we're dealing with.
All right, folks, last story here. That is attorneys Ben Crump and Harry Daniels have been retained by Jacksonville mother who was in a vicious encounter with a police officer at a school. Watch this video.
You got me fucked up! You gonna punch me? You gonna hit me? You gonna hit me? You gonna hit me? You got somebody else? No, please, please. What's the number? What's our number? What's our number? 707. Hey, are you hiding my arm? 707. You hiding me? You went too far. You
got it, Cat. That's the devil, Cat. Okay? That's the devil. That police officer is the devil. Okay? That's the devil. Hey, y'all, I gotta move this line.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Get the fuck off of that lady. You ain't screaming like a man, right? Oh my God. I can't. You is wrong. You is wrong.
this arrest of 39-year-old Erica McGriff that was captured by a bystander, and she was arrested for supposedly leaving her car illegally parked and unattended. Now, that was a bystander video. Now, here's the actual body cam footage so you can see what took place from beginning to what you just saw there.
Hey, where you going?
What is the problem? What are you doing?
I need your license.
Huh?
I need your license.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's your car. I just saw you get out of the car.
Hey, that's not my car.
Okay.
I'm going over here. Please don't. Please. Hey.
You right here with your student?
Hey.
You right here with your student?
This is my daughter. Please do not touch me.
Do you want to go to jail?
Don't touch me. I do not, sir. I did not do anything wrong.
Yes, you did.
I did not do anything wrong.
Unattended.
No, I did not leave that vehicle.
You could get a ticket.
I was the passenger.
You could get a ticket.
The driver went to the school. The driver is at the school, sir.
You could get a ticket.
I will leave.
Listen, you could get a ticket, or you could keep playing this game and go to jail. I'm going to give you one chance.
Sir,
You're creating the drama.
I don't want any drama. I want to go home and I want to leave.
Okay, then
I just came to pick up my child.
Okay.
I just came to pick up my child.
You're making this way more than it.
Please don't grab me. Please don't grab me. Don't grab me. Sir, let me go. You hurting my baby. No, I'm going back to my car. Let me.
You're making a big deal.
Please don't do this in front of my child, sir. No. Take me to my car, please. I will. You don't have to curse me. I will. Let me go. Please don't. You embarrassing my baby.
Pull away from me.
Sir, I'm not pulling away from you. You got me fucked up. You gonna punch me? You gonna hit me? You gonna hit me?
You pull away from me again. You pull away from me again, you're going to jail. You pull away from me again, you're going to jail. You pull away from me again, you're going to jail.
Come to my baby's school. Come to my baby's school. Please. Call my mama. Please. Call my mama.
I'm about to put you on the ground. I'm about to put you on the ground. I'm about to put you on the ground. Quit pulling away from me. You're going to jail. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Quit pulling away from me.
Get my baby my purse.
She's going to jail.
Tell her to keep my purse.
Get her purse.
Tell her to keep my purse.
Oh, you going to fight me? You were too close.
Get off me, Crockett. Get off of me. Get the fuck off me. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Put your hand back right now. Put your hand back.
I can't breathe. Stop! I can't breathe.
Get someone to help me now. Get someone to help me now.
I can't.
Stop.
He's choking me. I can't breathe. Please. Please, somebody. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me, sir.
Okay, please.
Help me, please. Help me. Help me. Help me. Damn, if you could just...
Put your hand behind her back.
They're behind her back. They're behind her back. They behind. Get off of her. Get off of her. Get off of her.
Can you get a knee up now? She goes to class. All right.
I need to get her pin number to her phone.
Hey, you.
Baby, I got your daughter. What's the pin number to your phone so we can call your mom? You can put this up in my head. 868.
Back up. Back up.
Please,
I'm a law enforcement officer.
Mama, he been trying to...
Female punched me. And we fought.
see you at 1845 Bassett Road. Can she lease it up? Put her in my car. Put her in my car. She punched me and she bit me.
Amani needs to go inside. Amani, her daughter. Who is it? I got Amani.
Amani Sego.
Watch out, move.
You know, Walter Rouse is for no business.
Where's Amani?
We got him. Put her in my car. Put her in the car.
I'll get you in the car. I'll get Amani.
Mr. Man, she's playing. Put her in the car. Put her in the car.
I'm trying. She please.
You got 25 feet to get away from me, or you going with her?
I got it.
Get in the car. Get in the car.
Damn, you gonna kick me too, officer?
Get in the car and kick you.
Y'all have heard me say this numerous times about the job is to de-escalate. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to replay the body cam footage. But I want y'all to pay attention to the first 60 seconds. I want y'all to pay attention to the tone of the officer. When he gets out of the car, he approaches the woman and what he says. Play it.
Hey, where you going?
What is the problem? What are you doing?
I need your license.
Huh?
I need your license.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's your car. I just saw you get out of the car.
Hey, that's not my car.
Okay.
Going over here, please don't, please. Hey.
You right here with your student?
Hey.
You right here with your student?
This is my daughter. Please do not touch me.
Do you want to go to jail?
Don't touch me. I do not, sir. I did not do anything wrong.
Yes, you did.
I did not do anything
wrong. You left your vehicle unattended.
No, I did.
Stop. I need y'all to pay attention. Hey, I saw you get out of the car. She says, that's not my car. He then goes, I need your license. Do you want to go to jail? Right there. Why are we starting there? I have repeatedly said that the fundamental problem with these cops is he got out of the car at a 7 and he escalated to a 10. Now play it again and I'm going to show you how the cop should have responded when he approached the woman.
Not leave that vehicle.
You could get a ticket.
I was the passenger.
You could get a ticket.
The driver went to the school. The driver's at the school,
You could get a ticket.
I will leave.
Listen, you could get a ticket, or you could keep playing this game and go to jail.
Drama.
I'm gonna give you one chance.
Sir,
You're creating the drama.
I don't want any drama.
Hey, where are you going?
What is the problem? What are you doing?
I need your license.
Huh?
I need your license.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's your car. I just saw you get out of the car.
Hey, that's not my car.
Okay.
Going over here, please don't, please. Hey.
You right here with your student?
Hey.
You right here with your student?
This is my daughter. Please do not touch me.
Do you want to go to jail?
Don't touch me. I do not, sir. I did not do anything wrong.
Yes, you did.
I did not do anything
left your vehicle
wrong.
unattended.
Stop right there. So he said, do you want to go to jail? Later he goes, ticket or jail. This is what the cop should have done. This deputy sheriff. He should have said, ma'am, I need you to take a breath. Ma'am, I need you to calm down. Is she, sir, ma'am, I need you to calm down. Ma'am, I can't. I need to get some information. So, ma'am, I know you're standing here with your daughter. I don't want to frighten your daughter, but I need you to breathe and calm down. Are you ready now to talk to me? Okay. So, ma'am, I saw you get out of the car. The car is unattended and it's illegally parked. That's a violation. I can ticket you for that. Now, you say that's not your car. Okay. Whose car is that? Where is that particular person? Did you come here with them? See, that's all. Here's the thing. Whether we're talking, I don't care what scenario, tone matters. The approach that you take matters. This cop gets out of the car on 7. He escalates to 9. He escalates to 10. He's dealing with a clearly agitated person. So when you do that, your job is to bring it down. He didn't do that. And so it escalated. Now, he goes, she bit me. We played the whole 6 minutes. If you listen to it, the bite didn't come till about the 4.5 mark. He had his knee on her back, on her neck. He got uber aggressive over an unattended, illegally parked vehicle. Y'all, that's a ticket. That's a ticket. He immediately went to jail, Congo. He immediately went to jail. I need to see your license. You want to go to jail? Hold up. Later, about 30 seconds later, he goes, ticket or jail? Ticket or jail? First of all, why are we even saying jail? Why is it a part? This is what I continue to say. The fundamental problem we have in this country are we have cops, deputy sheriffs, or whatever, who they refuse to de-escalate basic situations on the Congo.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything she could have said or done to prevent what happened. And when I saw this video over the weekend, it just started with the part where she went down to the ground, and everybody's always saying, "Well, what happened beforehand? What happened beforehand? Maybe this, maybe that." We've seen this play full out. And one of the things, Roland, we also have these MAGA folks who are joining the police force. I feel like I saw his left arm bracelet was an upside down flag. Not exactly sure, or some other point, and that just kind of just made me think that this is possibly one of those MAGA cops that are just looking out there for a beating and just wants to traumatize an entire community. And look at all those children who have to see that. And so I think that this man got out there looking for a confrontation, and he got out there looking to make an example. And this woman is screaming and helping. And I feel like this wasn't intention the entire time. And that, looking at her daughter, had to put her arm in front of her to try to protect her. This is the damage that they want. And they know that this type of issue is going to ripple across the country. People are saying that, these guys are not doing their job. I feel like these guys are doing exactly what they think their job is, and that's to terrorize our community. And that's what that cop did right there. And he didn't just do it for that group right there. He did it for the entire country. And I would really like to know if that was an upside down bracelet on his wrist, American flag.
It just makes no sense to me, Renita, why you're a cop and you can't de-escalate. I don't understand why this is hard.
No, listen, he didn't need to do breathing exercises with her. He needed to do them with himself because she was not even escalated. And she gave him all of the information that he needed to know. She said, I was in the passenger seat. The owner of the car went into the school. So she told him who actually owned the car. What he should have done was said, can you call the person who's in school and let them know they have 10 minutes to move this car or 5 minutes or whatever. I'm going to give them a ticket.
But the reason the reason I laid out, Renita, the reason I laid out the breathing because she was agitated. Sir, don't do Again, that's that moment where you say, ma'am.
Right, but what I'm
Calm
saying
down.
is she was not too agitated that he could not get the information that he needed. She gave him the
No.
information.
No.
Escalate.
No. What I'm saying is,
Escalated at a level
she was
that he couldn't understand what she was saying. He
well.
needed to do those breathing
Well,
exercises
she was
himself.
right. She wasn't on a right. But the point I'm making is, the cop has to approach the police officer's tone. The police officer has the badge. The police officer has the gun. The police officer has the power. And what I'm saying is, when I saw the video, when I heard her, I heard an agitated woman. What I'm saying is, what the cop's job should be is, bring it here. I want to have a conversation. Yes. And so now, you say, I saw you got out of the car.
But what I'm saying is, it's not his job.
No, I simply
person. She was, but let me finish. He did not need to go over any of that.
No, actually, I disagree with it. It is. No. Let me finish.
I
disagree.
What I'm saying is, it is not a requirement for folks who have not been sworn into the police department or the general public to not be worked up when a cop approaches them, particularly a Black person who has seen how these things go down. This woman was not educated to the point that she did not get information. He was the one who escalated.
But that
get really frazzled until he mentioned, you're going to jail, you're getting a ticket. He escalated that entire
No.
He did.
No, the reason I disagree. I disagree. I mean, rolling from the top again, the body cam footage. Again, I'm laying out how I believe police officers should be approaching something. Police officers have to be, for me, even more sensitive to, yes, a power person may react to a police officer. Again, they are setting the tone. How he got out of the car immediately, how he got out of the car, and how he charged her, then caused her to go here. I'm saying what the cops have to do, and these police chiefs and these sheriffs, they've got to learn, train these people, and some of the people should not be on forces.
It's not,
my reaction.
It's not.
No. That's not. No. I said two things there. No. Actually, some of it is training. What I said two things. I said one is training, and then I said some of these people should not be cops. And what I'm saying is, one second. What I'm saying is, I believe that what has to happen is that you got to have. And here's the deal. I've seen it happen in some cases. You got to have police officers whose first inclination is not to go, I can put you in jail. It is to de-escalate. It is to calm someone down in order for me to now have a proper back and forth. When I see the body cam footage,
right?
Hold on. I want you to. No. 1 second. I want you to say that. I'm gonna play it again. Hold, Renita. I'm gonna let you say that, Renita. I'm gonna let you say that. I'm gonna play it again for 30 seconds. So let me play it again. I was gonna play it about 2 minutes ago. So play it again, and then you can make the point.
Hey, where you going?
What is the problem? What are you doing?
I need your license. I need your license.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's your car. I just saw you get out of the car.
Hey, that's not my car.
Okay.
I'm going over here. Please don't. Please. Hey.
You're right here with your student.
Hey.
You're right here with your student.
This is my daughter. Please do not touch me.
Do you want to go to jail?
Don't touch me. I did not do anything wrong.
Yes, you did.
I did not do anything wrong.
Unattended.
No, I did not leave that vehicle.
You can get a ticket.
I was the passenger.
You can get a ticket.
The driver went to the school. The driver's at the school,
sir. You can get a ticket.
I will leave.
Listen, you can get a ticket, or you can keep playing these games and go to jail. I'm going to give you one chance.
Sir,
you're creating the drama.
I don't want any drama. I want to go home and I want to leave.
Then let's go over
pick up my child.
Okay.
I just came to pick up my child.
You're making this way more than it be.
Please don't grab me. Please don't grab me. Don't grab me. Sir, let me go. You hurting my back.
Cop, just de-escalate. You relax, because you have the power. Ready to go.
My opinion stands. This is what I think. She was not over-escalated in a way that he needed to go through all of that with her. He began to talk about, you're going to jail, and that's when she started to say, don't touch me, don't touch me. But here's how I know it's not about the training. They have the same type of training, the same level of training when they come in contact with white women, and they do not approach them this way. The way that he jumped out of the car and walked up to her and started talking to her, he would have never done that had she looked like a affluent, middle-aged white woman. So it's not about the training. The problem with these officers is racism. They approach Black folks like our lives do not matter, and that's why he approached her that way. She was giving him the information that he needed to know. He could have easily, and this is the part I do agree with you on, he should have de-escalated the situation and said, hey, if you're saying the person who's in the school, the person who owns a car is in the school, well, then call them right now and tell them that if they don't come out here right now and move this car, I'm going to give you a ticket. He is the one who went into, you're going to get arrested, this and that. None of that needed to happen. I mean, that was completely ridiculous.
And that's why I said there are people who should not be on police forces. And this to me, that if you are a sheriff, if you're a police chief, versus automatically trying to defend the cop, this is where you say, and I've seen an example. Yes, deputy sheriff, you may be technically correct. Technically correct in that she could have gotten a ticket. Yep. You may be correct that, okay, go to jail. But it's a traffic violation. You don't have to go to let's go to jail. And this is where, I fault that officer. And what I keep saying, and we played too many of these videos, too many of these cops, they don't believe in de-escalation. They don't believe in that they control the scene, and how they approach people is critically important. Now, I've seen other videos. I forgot the video we showed with this one brother. He was just, and the cop tried everything to get his ass to calm down. The cop said, listen, man, I don't want to tase you, but I'm going to need you. And the brother just kept going. That's a whole different deal. But this is the problem that I have, and we're talking about outside of a school. Oh, my God. Do you know how many times? If there are two places where I've seen vehicles left unattended, are airports and schools. Mm-hmm. Airports and schools. So if you don't know how to handle parents picking kids up from schools, your ass have no business sitting outside of a school, or really you got no business being on the force. Eugene had to go. I appreciate him being on the show. Renita, thanks so much.
How is it, but let me ask you this, just to go off your point. How is it that they always know how to de-escalate when it is white folks? In no universe would that
that's what I'm saying.
Have approached. Right. So what I'm saying is it's not about the training. They do know how to de-escalate. They just don't do that with Black folks. That's what it is. Because he would have.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was
white woman.
Right.
He would have done everything I said had that been a white woman. He would have said, well, you need to call that person right now and tell them to come get this car or they're getting a ticket. That's what he would have done. He would have never thrown a white woman to the ground that way. He wouldn't have tried to put his knee on her face, which he did. And then she moved like this so that he could not put his knee on her face. He wouldn't even jumped out of the car that way. No universe would he have escalated that way. This
is why I say point blank. There are people with badges and guns who have no business being in law enforcement, period. Because we run too many of these videos. Again, Eugene, Renita, Omekongo, I appreciate you being on the panel. Thank you so very much. Folks, listen, it's a lot of stuff that is going on. We're going to be covering more stuff tomorrow. We've got some big interviews tomorrow, if I'm correct. Abigail Spanberger, who's running for governor of Virginia, is going to be joining us on tomorrow's show. Carol, correct? Is Senator Cory Booker joining us tomorrow as well? All right, so Senator Cory Booker on the show as well. So I got a big show tomorrow, so y'all be sure to check us out. 6 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back in our Black Star Network studio, so look forward to seeing y'all there. If y'all want to support the work that we do, join our Bring the Funk fan club. The goal is to get 20,000 fans contributing on average $50 each a year. We're trying to raise $1 million between now and the end of the year. We've got a new daily show, midday news show. We got a weekly show coming, lots of things that are going on. And so, man, we look forward to your support. You want to contribute via Cash App, use the Stripe QR code you see at the bottom left-hand corner. PayPal's R. Martin Unfiltered, Venmo RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Check the money order, make it payable to Roland Martin Unfiltered, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2003 7-0196. Download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. If you want to get my book, White Fear, How the Browning of America is Making White Folks Lose Their Minds, you should get it at bookstores nationwide, online as well. But get the audio copy, audible copy that I read as well. If you want to get our Black Star Network Roland Martin Unfiltered swag, go to shopblackstarnetwork.com. shopblackstarnetwork.com. Also, support the Black-owned products that we have at shopblackstarnetwork.com. And so you get all those products you see right there. Get them at shopblackstarnetwork.com. And be sure to download the app Fanbase. And, of course, if you want to invest, $13.3 million has already been raised, of $13.4 million. So target goal is $17 million. If you want to invest, go to startengine.com/fanbase. startengine.com/fanbase. All right, folks, that's it. I'll see y'all tomorrow right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Oh, my Texans had a bye yesterday. But the Cowboys lost. It's a great weekend. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Holla!